Hello and welcome to Social Media Weekly, episode 4th November 2020. Social Media Weekly is brought to you by Virtual Palace Marketing, rehumanizing your marketing experience. My name is Sean. I'm coming to you from the confines of my little spare study room at home, not in the office today, not traveling today. So I don't know if the sound's going to be any good, but we'll see. Anywho, let's try it out. And let's start with the news headlines. LinkedIn launching Career Explorer tools. WhatsApp delivers around 100 billion messages a day. Facebook users continue to grow. Twitter grew ad revenue users in Q3 of 2020. Back to the stories. LinkedIn launching Career Explorer tool. Hold on just a bit. According to the International Labour Organization, there are an estimate of 245 million full-time jobs currently impacted by COVID all over the world right now. LinkedIn is stepping up their role as a professional social platform with the introduction of the Career Explorer tool. It's not just another job search tool. It actually helps match a person's skill with jobs that they might not have considered based on the skills that they have, and then provides certain pointers that will help earn extra skills, right? And so they can be more relevant to those new sets of jobs. Of course, one way of learning those sets of jobs is actually by taking LinkedIn's online course, which LinkedIn previously bought over from, I don't remember her name. Lynda, yes. Lynda was the online course, kind of like a Coursera kind of thing. They bought over that online professional courses thing. And so LinkedIn is saying, hey, these are the jobs that you may be interested in that you have not looked in based on the skill set that you have. Oh, by the way, there are certain things, you're not 100% there, right? So that there are certain things that LinkedIn feels that you may need to improve on in order to get there. So LinkedIn says, okay, here is a place you can learn. So that's where they get the money from. In a way, it's good. At least they're providing displaced professionals with an option to land new jobs, learn new things. This tool is actually in beta right now, available only in English with other languages coming soon. It's not available all over the world as well. So if it's in your market, you can try it out and see if it's there. LinkedIn is currently used by over 722 million members worldwide. WhatsApp delivers around 100 billion messages a day. I bet it's got a lot to do with people who don't know how to send every single thing they want to say within one text image. You know how there are some people who like to send like 2 lines, send, 2 lines, send, 2 lines, send, instead of constructing an entire sentence before sending it out. Yeah, that would probably contribute to 1 billion a day. Anyhow, jokes aside, WhatsApp is the largest chat platform in the world today, surpassing even the parent company's own alternatives, Messenger and Instagram. Even more than WeChat, definitely more than iMessage. The platform has over 2 billion users, majority of them from India and Brazil. The people at WhatsApp also said this boom is attributed to people relying heavily on chat to stay connected with their loved ones and also for business this year. There is one small problem with WhatsApp though. Facebook still hasn't been able to monetize this massive success yet. They tried setting up payments in Brazil and India, but were met with backlash from their respective governments. Last week, we also talked about the company potentially charging businesses for value-added services. They also considered serving ads to users across the board, but this could be a privacy issue because the only way for Facebook to serve ads is if they know who their customers are, who their users are. And in order to know their users, Facebook would need to be able to read the contents of the chats. But this is an end-to-end encrypted messaging platform, right? So they are not able to check who is talking to who and what are the topics they're talking about. Well, they're not supposed to be able to know that. So because of that, ads is out of the question. So the only thing they have standing for them right now is to monetize certain parts of WhatsApp business and also to bring in payments because there are a lot of WhatsApp business users who use WhatsApp to transact and do business and everything. So they can improve WhatsApp and convert it into a WeChat style chatting platform where people can actually ask questions about products, inquire about them, add to cart, maybe even do a payment system with Facebook Pay, and eventually they can make money through transactions. But the problem with that is that the two biggest markets that they want to try to get into are not very supportive of Facebook's ways. Maybe because I don't know. It has a lot to do with Facebook being too big, and these countries want to protect their sovereignty in terms of their financial service providers and be able to build their own financial service providers rather than to rely on an international one, because financial monetary system of a country is very important, and it has to be protected in terms of it has to have its sovereign, like local owner and operator, so you're not reliant on some third party operator who may or may not be interested in your country's well-being. Moving forward, Facebook users continue to grow. The company reported an increase in 35 million active daily users, up to 1.82 billion in Q3 of 2020. Most of the growth came from Asia Pacific and the rest of the world, while Europe saw a stagnant 305 million since Q1 2020. US and Canada saw a slight dip of 2 million daily active users between Q2 and Q3. Yes, 2 million for Facebook is a slight movement. Most of the growth that came from Asia Pacific actually is from India, not surprising, as the country is undergoing a massive tech adoption phase right about now. And the fact that COVID has hit is a very good news for Facebook, because it has been pushing a lot of communications and human connection through via online, and one of the largest platform that people are using to keep connected with each other is actually Facebook. Twitter grew ad revenue and users in Q3. Compared to Q2, Twitter reported that it added 2 million monetizable daily active users, MDAU. The difference between Facebook's DAU, which is daily active users, and Twitter's monetizable daily active users is because Twitter does not count non-monetizable daily active users, which means monetizable in the sense that they actually see ads. And from the revenue perspective, these are the people who see and engage with ads, so they are more substantial. It's a filtered version of daily active users. The growth came from international markets, as US user base remained the same since Q2. While growth is nice, it is also worth noting that the growth actually slowed this quarter. The company's MDAU went up from 166 million to 186 million last quarter, and then it added to 188 million this quarter. It's still growing, but not as well. In terms of revenue, the company reported an increase to $936 million in Q3, up from Q2's $683 million. This could be due to an increase in spending on political ads ahead of the US elections, which is happening as I am recording this thing. I was actually watching the US elections unfold. Still a bit slow because it's still very early stages. But what's going to happen is that perhaps we are seeing Twitter's revenue drop, ad spending drop in Q4 after the election is over, but maybe not. We can't tell. What we can say is they're doing quite well for themselves. Alright, so that's all for this week's Social Media Weekly. Social Media Weekly podcast available on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and we post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Social Media Weekly episode 4th November 2020. My name is Sean. Stay safe, wear a mask, stay home if you can. Au revoir.